Good morning, folks. Welcome back. In the immediate aftermath of the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, leftist schools celebrated his death, mocked his passing, and tormented his family. I remember this quite clearly while in the United Kingdom covering the Women's Rugby World Cup recently. Now, the State Department warned that the United States would take action against those foreigners praising, rationalizing, or making light of Kirk's death. Well, those chickens have come home to roost. The United States State Department said on Tuesday, October 14th, that it had revoked the visas of 6 foreign nationals over social media comments made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The United States has no obligation to host foreigners who wish death on Americans, the department stated on its X account. It listed South Africa, Argentina, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, and Paraguay as the home countries of the people who had their visas revoked. Among the examples cited Tuesday are a post said to be from an Argentine national who said that Kirk devoted his entire life spreading racist, xenophobic, misogynistic rhetoric. Well, frankly, that's someone's opinion, but then it gets ugly and deserves to burn in hell. There's the problem. Now, another attributed to a South African national who reportedly mocked Americans grieving the loss of Kirk, saying they're hurt that the racist rally ended in attempted martyrdom and alleging he was used to astroturf a movement of white nationalist trailer trash. Well, that South African, if they haven't already left the United States, will soon be leaving the United States. And a Paraguayan national who allegedly said Charlie Kirk was a son of a biatch and he died by his own rules. Now, aside from the bigotry, racism, and arrogance directed at Charlie Kirk, wholly uninformed these people are. Charlie Kirk, whether you liked him or not, was a person who sought dialogue and sought to debate people. Didn't call for violence, quite the contrary. The State Department said it also revoked visas from a Mexican national, a Brazilian national, and a German national. Now, the Supreme Court has been clear that non-citizens have a right to freedom of speech, says Connor Fitzpatrick, an attorney at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE. No, they're not. They're not. The United States is not obliged to host people who are abhorrent. As far as the court extending constitutional rights to non-citizens, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. That will be coming back to the 6-3 court soon enough to be adjudicated. It shouldn't matter whether you agree with what they say or not, but the idea that they lose their visa over this is essentially violating the first premise of U.S. Supreme Court First Amendment law. Harold Hongju Ko, who served as the State Department's legal advisor during the Obama administration, told CNN. It's a punitive exercise of the president's diplomatic powers. And what are the limits to this? What if they decide next that criticizing the president is the basis for engaging in visa denials? Said Ko, who is now a professor of international law at Yale. And the professor is correct. It is punitive. But that isn't germane. The president has the authority and the sole purview for foreign diplomacy. It's his prerogative. He's within his rights. On their X account, at POTUS and at Sec Rubio, we'll defend our borders, our culture, and our citizens by enforcing our immigration laws, said the State Department. Aliens who take advantage of America's hospitality while celebrating the assassination of our citizens will be removed. That's a pretty harsh statement. Well, that may very well be the case. The State Department can revoke visas at any time, for virtually any reason. Just ask Ibrahim Rasool. Crying about free speech is not likely to change their authority to revoke visas. Now, the visa revocations were timed for Tuesday, October 14th, to coincide with President Trump's awarding of the United States' highest civilian honor posthumously to Charlie Kirk, calling him a martyr for truth and for freedom. Now, while I empathize with the decision and the arguments for revoking the visas, I'm troubled by the decision to make it such a public spectacle. Quietly revoke, deport, or blacklist for future entry. Doing this the day Kirk is posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom is gratuitous and political showmanship, and it's unnecessary. But the intent here is to send a message, and on that count, the Trump administration has succeeded. Folks, speech may be free, but it also comes with consequences. If you libel someone, if you slander someone, if you shout fire in a crowded theater, these are all illegal actions. Speech is not unconstrained. Freedom of speech means you have the right to your opinion, not to slander, not to libel, or not to endanger other members of the public. You have to be responsible. Now, what these people did doesn't endanger anyone, but it certainly does malign people. And of course, the person is dead, but the harm is being perpetrated on the United States and more specifically on Kirk's family, his widow and his children. So whether you agree with it or not, this should be a big contentious issue going forward. The intent is to send a message. Will others get the message, or will they continue to behave in an abhorrent manner? We shall see. What say you, South Africa? A South African is coming home for a social media post. Is that right? Is it just? Is it fair? What say you? Cheers.